Hello everyone, I'm gonna introduce this tool that I made and I wanted to share it with all of you. This video will serve as a quick tutorial on how to set it up. This is basically an auto-updater launcher I made that I already used in games like I Wanna Start a Party and Spell Coins Out, that basically connects to a GitHub repository and keeps the game updated at all times, like this. Like when I executed the game, it booted up a command line interface. It it checked for the latest version, and it's gonna take a bit. So yeah, it keeps the game updated at all times. Yeah, it like here validating game is up to date. So yeah, it does basically that. So I'll now help you to set it up on your own fan game. A couple disclaimers before starting. It's highly likely that the launcher will be detected by Windows because Windows basically sucks, and it will detect it as a virus most likely. But the launcher is 100% safe. It basically just fetches like the GitHub latest release, like this one, and it unzips it for you and launches the game automatically. So yeah, Windows does really not like all of that. So yeah, you don't have to worry. It's 100% safe to use. Okay, so now with that out of the way, how does this basically work? What's this launcher compatible with? Well, the good thing is that it's compatible with pretty much everything. Uh, be it GM8 8.2, Game Maker Studio 1, Game Maker Studio 2, or even games not even made with Game Maker like Godot, Unity, and maybe even some other engines. But how does it work then? Well, basically what it does is it looks up the file version of the game.exe, which is accessed through properties and details, like this one, file version 1.2.0.3. So as long as your engine has this value, the launcher will detect the GitHub release and then it will update automatically. So it doesn't matter what engine you use, as long as this file can be updated, then it's the launcher will work for it. So yeah, that's a really good thing. I can't 100% confirm it will work for things like Godot, Unity, or other engines, but I don't see how it will be how it will not work. So I guess it's fine. But yeah, so now onto the configuration steps. So okay, step one. You have to download the launcher from the GitHub repository. So basically, you go to the GitHub I want a launcher. You go to the releases section, or well, click on the latest release, which is this one in this case, 1.2.0.0. It will change most likely in a couple weeks, or well, I hope not, but maybe it will not be this one. This one will not be the latest, but anyway, you download the zip file. It's not big file size, so it will download pretty much instantly. So yeah, you'll have these folders and one launcher.exe. So I'm gonna extract the files here. Okay, so once it's done, for now, you will not touch it for now. I'm just gonna paste this here for the time being. So that's the first step. Then the second step is if you don't have a GitHub account, well, then you have to create a GitHub account, or else it will not work. Um, so yeah, if you don't have a GitHub account, just create one. It's really easy. You don't really need any GitHub knowledge for this, so it's okay. No, you don't have to worry. You don't have to learn how to use Git or any command interface or whatever. No, it's very basic, just GitHub knowledge, so you don't have to worry. Okay, so once you have your account, like, well, in this case, I already have an account, obviously. So you can go to the next step, which is the launcher itself. So yeah, the launcher. Once you, yeah, well, Windows detecting as virus as always. Once you execute the launcher, you will prompt these three questions, which is what is the name of your fan game is the first question. This is the most important step because this name that you input here will be very important on all the later steps. So whatever you input here, capitalization even matters a lot. So just remember what you input here for the next step. So in this case, I don't know, my fan game will be called I Wanna Showcase Launcher. Just remember this name and the capitalization for what you input. So just have it in mind. So I will copy it just in case. Copy here. Okay. So what is your GitHub username? Well, in case you already have a GitHub account, you just have to input your username. In this case, it's, well, for me it's Kingsley. And this question, wanna use releases after the GitHub repository name? What does this mean? So basically, if you have your you already have a GitHub repository for like the source code of your fan game, then you can just use that one as long as the name of the repository is the same as the name you input here, but with dashes instead of spaces. So what I mean by that is if you take a look at, for example, let's look at my startup party repository, or well, the spell coins out repository, which is right here. If you notice, the name of the repository is the exact same name of the fan game, just with dashes instead of spaces. And here are the releases. So in my case, I already have the source code like hosted here. So since I already have the repository, I can just use this one for hosting the releases. So in this case, it doesn't really matter if you use releases or not. It it matters more so when you want to separate the source code from the releases. In case your source code you want to have it as private, completely private, and the releases on another repository publicly available. So in that case, it's useful to use releases. Um, so in for this example, I'm gonna use releases just to like show you the steps. It will be the exact same steps if you choose to not use releases. So in this case, if you input no, your name of the repository, in my case, will be I wanna showcase launcher like this. If I use no, if I use yes, then the name of the repository will have to be this I wanna showcase launcher releases. So that's the difference. That's the repository name the launcher will try to fetch from. So yeah, in this case I'll use yes. Okay, so when I input that and press enter, it will start generating the launcher exe file. So I will just have to wait for a couple seconds. Okay, once it closes, you will have your exe, your launcher exe, in here. Okay, well, large icons. You will have your generated launcher in right here. In this case, I want to showcase launcher. So if you want to change the icon of your launcher, then you have to change this file icon.ico. This icon will determine the icon of the final launcher. So in case you want another one, just replace this file, name it icon.ico, and it will generate the file with this icon. So now, okay, you have these two files. So what do you do with them? Okay, this is the step that changes a little bit if you use, depending on the game maker version you use. So if you use Studio 2, it will be very similar to Studio One with minor differences. And GameMaker 8.2 is not so different, but I will have different sections for each GameMaker version. So depending on your GameMaker version, you can just skip to that version if you want. So this is the section of what you will do if you use GameMaker Studio 2 or GameMaker as it's called now. In this case, I already have like a dummy project for the game. So if I open it, so once you have it open, I'm gonna just run the game for you to see the like it's just a random room. I just grabbed my like KNR engine and I just made changed some stuff around. So yeah, doesn't it's a very basic fan game. It will be the same for the other Game Maker versions as well. So yeah, the content doesn't matter. What matters now is what you do is once you have your files generated in the I wanna launcher generated folder, you mainly care about these three files. The token.json you can ignore for now. Just pay attention to these two files. So what do you do? The first step is to add those two folders in the included files folder for the project. So just grab them, copy, paste. So it will show up as included file. That's the first step. That's all there is to it. And you can rename this as this.exe if you want to rename it for something like launcher or updater or well, whatever, just fetcher, whatever you want. Just change the name so it's not the same name as your fan game. In this case, I will just name it launcher. So yeah, launcher, and this file updater.upt. Don't forget to add this file as well. It's very important. So now that's the first step. What's the next step? The next step is to go to Game Options, Windows. You will have a lot of information here, but what you care about is this version numbers. This version is what will be fetched on the GitHub repository and compare it against the release version that you have right there. So, well, for the first version, it's fine to have 1000, which means it's like the first release version. And well, the .exe, I'm gonna call it. I wanna showcase launcher.exe, and I'm gonna copy this. Okay, so you hit apply, and that's pretty much it. So you basically just set it up. It's already set up already. So the only other step is to compile it as zip. So you see there's the launcher and the updater. So as long as those two files are right there, then you're good to go. So this is in case you use GameMaker Studio 1. If you notice, I already have a dummy file, a dummy fangame for the test. Okay, so here's the fangame. I'm just gonna execute it for you to see it's just a normal fangame with not much going on, to be honest. So it's a little bit loud. So yeah, this is the fangame basically. It's just the test room for the Verb Yo edition. It's nothing out of the ordinary. So yeah, basically, once you have the generated files, which will be these two right here, these two are the most important. Ignore the token.json for now. Just these two. What you want to do is in the included files, you can create an included file, and then you can just go to the where you generated the launcher, which will be this one right here, and remember to add the updater.upt as well. these two are the most important files. So yeah, you just add them, and there they are. That's the first step. So now the second step is, once you have those two already included, you go to the global game settings, and then on Windows you have these numbers right here. This will be the version that you enter on the GitHub releases page. So make sure this number will make sure to save this number exactly. In this case, it's fine if you just use 1000 for the first release of the game. Just make sure you change this version every time you want to release a new update. So don't forget, this version is very important. So well, in this case, I'm not gonna change anything. I'm just gonna leave them as is. So okay, and then I'm gonna compile the game. So I'm gonna save it right here. There's two things right here. If you already included the files in the included file sections, just generate the game as .zip file. If you want to compile the game as .exe, you don't include the files right here. You include them after you generate the zip file. So I'm gonna show the two options, the two ways to do that. So I'm gonna choose a zip file for now and just let it compile. So once it's done compiling, you see this zip file right here. If you open it, you'll see all the necessary files, which will be, if you already included the files in included files, you will see them right here: Showcase Launcher and updater.upt. So that's option number one for the zip file. The option number two, which is compiling to single runtime executable, you can do that as well. Just make sure, if you select this option, remove these two files. Remove them completely. I'm not gonna remove them just to demonstrate, but you can compile it once you actually remove those two files. Okay, so once it's done compiling, you will see it will generate something like this. So once you have the .exe, in case you choose that option, I'm gonna remove this for now. What you need to do is convert this into a zip file, like so. You will have the showcase launcher.exe. So in this zip file is where you want to save these two files now. So if you like grab them and drag them inside the zip, so the zip file, that's what you want to see. Just remember, yeah, I forgot one step. Just remember to rename the launcher. You can just name it whatever name you want. So if you just drag this right here, well, no, I'm gonna rename it to launcher. Just drag it inside the zip file, and I think it replaced this one. So yeah, okay. So yeah, this is what you want to see in the actual zip file: the game, the launcher, and the updater.upt. Once you have these three files, or if you chose the other option, you will have a ton more files, but as long as you have these three files, it's all good. So this is in case you want to use GameMaker 8.2. It will be almost the exact same steps for GameMaker 8.1 and 8.0. But I'm just gonna showcase 8.2 because it's the one most people use, and it's the one most representative of the options, the configuration anyway. So yeah, I have this file right here, like this fan game. It's basically a dummy fan game with not much going on. So yeah, we'll ignore that warning. If I execute this fan game, you will see it will just be the normal verb GM8.2 engine. I already changed the name and whatnot. So yeah, if I just enter a new file, you'll see there's not much going on. It's just the normal engine. So yeah, once you have your fangame ready, what do you do next? So the only thing you will need to configure inside Game Maker is manage game settings, which will bring up this window, and just click version. You will see these four numbers right here, which is the release version that you need to input for the GitHub releases. In this case, 1000 is fine. You can change it to whatever you want. I'll just use 1000 for now. It's okay. So once that's configured, just create the .exe. Just save it. For example, I will save it right here and let it compile. Once it's compiled, you will see you have the .exe right here. What you do now is just add it to a zip file, like so. And inside this zip file, you will drag the two files, the launcher and updater.upt. Make sure these two are included. Both are very important. And well, you can rename your launcher to whatever name you want. It doesn't really matter. In this case, I'm just using launcher. So just drag these two files like so inside the zip file. Then in the zip file, you need to see the game, the launcher, and the updater.upt. Once you have your zip file ready to go with all the necessary files, then the next step is to actually create the GitHub repository to host the releases. So you need to go to GitHub, then new repository, and then in this repository, make sure, as I told you in the previous step, to use the exact same name that you used for the first option of the launcher, which in this case it's gonna be I wanna showcase launcher for me, with dashes instead of spaces because GitHub doesn't accept spaces. That's the exact name that you need to use. Capitalization matters. If you mess up on a single different letter, then it's gonna fail to fetch the release. And the other thing is, if you in the third option, if you choose to use releases at the end, then you have to append dash releases, like I told you in the previous step. So this is gonna be the name for me in my repository. And for the description, well, it doesn't really matter, just put whatever. And make sure to add a readme, even if you don't use it, just make sure to add it, because if you have your repository empty, if your repository is empty, then it will prompt you to do a lot of steps on the command line. So just make sure to add the readme so you don't have to do all of those steps. So once you have all of this, you create the repository. Or well, if you already have a repository ready to go, then you don't even need to do all of these steps. Just use the repository you already have. But in this case, if the repository is completely new, then you already have it created like so. And then you need to go in the releases section, which is right here, and then click create a new release. It will take you to this page. So the important thing here is two things. One is the tag. What you will need to input here is the exact same version that you entered on the previous step, on the game maker step. In my case, it's 1.0.0.0. It needs to be exactly like the game maker version, or else it will fail to recollect the version correctly. If by any chance you mess up and you have a different version in the latest release, from the GameMaker file, then it will be like an infinite check version. It will fail to detect that you already have the the latest release. So it will just be, oh, there's a new version. I'm gonna download it. And the next time you execute the file, the game, then it's gonna prompt you again to download the latest release, even if you already have it. So yeah, just make sure to have this one accurately. So once you have it, you create new tag. Okay, it will be create and publish, create. Okay, that's it. You already have the version. The title and the description doesn't really matter. You can enter whatever you want in here. I like to enter the version name again, like in the tag. So, but you can just input anything here. And the description, well, I'm just gonna leave it empty. It doesn't really matter. So once you have this ready, the next step is to drag the zip file right here in the attached files. Make sure the zip file is exactly the name that you used in the launcher. In my case, well, it's this one right here. I want to showcase launcher. This is the exact same name. So if it has the exact same name, then you can just safely drag it onto GitHub. GitHub will automatically replace every space with a dot, like so. I dot wanna dot showcase. Well, it doesn't matter. Just make sure it's accurate to the same name that you use in the launcher. These dots are important. Don't worry. Just make sure it's the exact same name with the spaces replaced as dots. So once you have that set up, you click publish release, and that's it. You have your version ready to go. So if you, I'm gonna pretend this is a new fangame, right? So I already downloaded. I'm gonna extract it like usual, and then I'm just gonna paste it on my fangame folder, like so. So there's the showcase launcher, which is the game itself. So it just executes the game like normal. And in case you want to update the fangame, you click on the launcher.exe. So it's gonna detect. See, it's detecting the 1.0.0. Well, it's a little fast, so maybe you didn't see it. But it's gonna detect the version. Check. It tells me game is up to date, and it's just executing the game like normal. So perfect. So what now? If you by any chance notice, oh, there's something wrong with my fan game, I need to like fix a bug or balance something else. Well, you go into the fan game. I'm using Studio 2 for this part, but it doesn't matter for the other versions. It's just the same step. The same step you did before, you do it again for your GameMaker version. Um, so let's say this is too easy, so I'm gonna add a couple spikes here. And oops, I forgot some tiles, so I'm just gonna add some tiles here. And yeah, I don't care. Okay, that's my changes. After you do the changes, you have to change your version in the game options windows again. Make sure to change the version to what you want the new release to be. If you forget to change this version, then it's gonna do what I explained before. So just make sure it's the same. So I'm gonna change it to 11010. I hit apply. Then in here, I'm gonna delete this zip file, which is the old one. Then compile it as you did before. Okay, so this is your new file. This is your new version. So what now? You just go to the releases sections of your repository. You go into releases, and there's a button right here which says draft a new release. You need to click that. Then on the tag, you input the same version that you entered on the GameMaker file. then create, release title, whatever, description, whatever. Make sure this right here is clicked, latest. It automatically clicks it for you, but just make sure to just double check. So you go to wherever you save the save file again. This is the new version. So just drag it as before. Once it's uploaded, just double check everything is correct and just click publish release. And that's basically it. So if you notice in your releases, you have the old version, and then the new version is highlighted as latest. So now if you go to wherever you saved the file, which in my case is here, well, if you just open the game and load it, well, you notice nothing changes. But if you execute the launcher, look, it detected the new version. It's downloading, extracting. It will do everything for you. Just wait, and oh, it executed. So now you load the game, and boom, that's the changes. So yeah, you do that for every time you want to update. Just make sure to create a new release and do all the steps again, and well, that's your game updated automatically for you. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it for the configuration. So one extra step, I'm not gonna go into much detail because that's a little bit more involved. But in case you want to actually private this repository for like tester versions, or you just don't want everyone to see your game because like maybe it's in development, or maybe it's for a secret event or whatever, then what you have to do in that case, and that's why I included this file right here, which is the token.json, which if you remember I told you to ignore for now. The token.json basically grants you access to a private repository. So if you open this file, you will notice something like this: token and then GitHub path example. This token is obviously not real. So if you want to private your repository and get access to the launcher, to the repository, then you have to create a token in the GitHub page, which I'm not gonna show because entering that option showcases a little bit of sensitive information. So you can just Google how to generate a token. So you generate a token in GitHub, you give access to only that specific repository for your game releases, and you give it read access. And then that token that generates, you just paste it here. You paste it here, and it will be something like GitHub underscore path underscore and a bunch of random characters, and that's your token. So if this token is real, obviously, if it's real, you can just copy the token.json into the actual folder, which is showcase launcher, and just paste it here. As long as the token is valid and the token is in the same folder, then it will work fine. It will give access to the repository and fetch the releases accordingly. Just make sure, if you're private your repository and you don't want anyone to access that repository, just make sure this token file, do not share it with anyone. Just share it with people you trust, or if it's for testers, just share this file for your testers. Don't include this file into the zip file you upload into the releases, because otherwise, if someone just gets a hold of the releases, of the release file, then they will just have that token and they will be able to access the repository. So that's why make sure to add it as read access only for the token. So in case someone gets a hold of the token, they can just see the repository. They can't actually write anything or change anything. But yeah, just make sure to take care of this file. But yeah, that's an extra step. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. It's a little bit more complicated, but it's an option if you want it. So yeah, I think that pretty much sums up the entire configuration. And yeah, well, if you saw right there, yeah, they like prompted an error because the token is not valid. But yeah, just ignore that. So yeah, that pretty much sums up the configuration. Um, well, I'll in case you have any questions on how to do certain things, you can just write a message on my Discord or just ask on the game making channel on the Iwana community server. But yeah, I hope this proves useful for someone. And well, goodbye and take care.